Chapter 90, A Life and Death Chess. After explaining the trivial matters of the ancient mansion to all the great treasurers, Gu Hai left with Long Wanqing. Gu Hai took Gu Qin, Shangwen Scar, a group of villains, and some of the Gu mansion counters, maneuvered the flying boat and headed towards Peony Sect. Long Wanqing had already freshened up and changed her clothes, much fresher and cleaner. But, in her eyes, she was still full of anxiety, and the three servants stood respectfully at the side. Hall Master, later on, when we stop at Peony Sect, Shangwen Trace and my people may continue to use your flying boat to transport food to other places, Gu Hai explained. It's fine, just as long as you can go. Use the flying boat however you want, Long Wanqing said very cheerfully. Gu Hai nodded. Nowadays, the 5 countries all submit to the ancient mansion. There are still too many matters to be done. Everyone can't leave. Originally, Gu Qin also want to stay to preside over the big picture. But, Gu Qin repeatedly requested, Gu Hai also promised him to follow. After all, although the ancient mansion is just a mansion, but Gu Hai valued the talents, and the ancient mansion palmers are divided into a clear division of labor. So there is no need to be overly distracted by a lot of things. Everything would just be in order. Hall Master, describe more carefully the situation when you went to Peony Sect in the first place. Okay. Gu Hai looked at Long Wanqing. On that day, we traveled to Peony Sect together and found that the sect was in a state of depression, with a dozen or so disciples left scattered and panicking, so we went to catch a few and question them. And we asked about the mutation that occurred in Peony Peak, condensing a giant peony flower, and a group of Peony Sect disciples, led by the Peony Sect's patriarch, crossed into it one after another, and following that, they never came out again. In the giant peony flower, there were bursts of dragon roars. We all thought it was from the earth dragon vein. And after thinking for a while, Li Haoran sent someone to enter to test the waters, and found that there was no danger, so he went in there. And then we saw the old man of chess watching. Long Wanqing laughed bitterly. Elder chess viewer. Gu Hai was slightly stunned. It should be a puppet he left behind. The chess viewing elder set up the life chess and death chess, 2 games of chess. If you don't enter life, you enter death. Life chess is played against the chess viewing elder's puppet, and death chess. I don't know. A wave of regret flashed through Long Wanqing's eyes. Life and death chess, Gu Hai said doubtfully. We started off by crossing into the region of the living chess, playing against the chess viewing elder. But once we lost a piece, we were immediately strangled into pieces by the inexplicable chess game formation. No one dared to play. At that time, we wanted to retreat, but once we entered that giant peony, we could not retreat. It was either raw chess or dead chess. We just retreated. We were pushed into the dead chess abyss by a force. In the twinkling of an eye, all of us turned into Go. At that time, I was going to turn into Go. It was the Grandmaster who saved me in the end. He used his whole body's strength to encircle me with the fixed dragon ring, and pushed me out of the abyss, being the only one to escape, Long Wanqing sadly said. Fixed dragon ring. Gu Hai was puzzled. Long Wanqing immediately took out a golden ring. It was precisely the treasure of Song Shenping in the past, which was obtained by Master Liu Nian before his death. Grandmaster Liu Nian said that this fixed dragon ring was also a treasure that had been refined by Elder Chess Viewer. So maybe this was the reason why I escaped. Long Wanqing laughed bitterly. You saw them turn into Go, Gu Hai said doubtfully. Yes, they all turned into Go. Some turned into white. Some turned into black. I saw it. Do you think they can still be alive? Long Wanqing panicked. Don't worry too much. Weren't my 3,000 subordinates also turned into stone statues back then? Aren't they all fine now? Gu Hai comforted. Long Wanqing bit her lips and nodded. Since that's the case, then why did you wait 4 months before coming to my mansion? Gu Hai was puzzled. It had been a small few months since the last Dinglong sect battle. I was chased by someone afterwards, but, in the end, I ran away, Long Wanqing said bitterly. Hunted down, Gu Hai said unexpectedly. Someone else dared to chase after Long Wanqing. Well, it was an old blind man, and yes, there was also a one-eyed man, Long Wanqing recalled. Blind man, one-eyed, Gu Hai raised his eyebrows. On the side, Gu Qin immediately ordered people to quickly rummage around, and soon found two portraits to hand over to Gu Hai. Yes, it's them, Long Wanqing steeply stared in surprise. Li Wei, Wei Yong, Gu Hai raised his eyebrows. Li Wei, the former Dafeng Ang leader. Didn't he turn into a living dead man? Long Wanqing thought with a twitch in her expression. Yeah, this Wei Yong, as a master of Li Wei and Meng Tai. It should be Wei Yong who awakened Li Wei. They chased after you. Gu Hai frowned slightly. It seems like they wanted to pursue me in the giant peony, Long Wanqing recalled. Wei Yong. Really cautious. Knowing that the dragon vein is here, he doesn't even dare to enter easily, Gu Hai frowned. In that case, it should be that Wei Yong came here early to keep watch, but, in the giant peony, there was only an in, not an out. And they were worried. And at that time, they saw that the Hall Master was actually able to come out. So they especially wanted to know the situation. Gu Qin thought about it and said, maybe. Long Wanqing nodded. The flying boat flew very quickly, and before long, it arrived at Peony Sect. Buzz. The flying boat stopped at the top of a mountain peak. Gu Hai, Gu Qin, 10 villains, Long Wanqing's master and servant jumped off the flying boat. Who? Shangwen Scar piloted the flying boat and quickly left. That giant peony, in full bloom, a few months ago. It was just a bud. Long Wanqing was surprised. However, she saw a mountain peak in the distance that seemed to have been cut off at the waist, and above it lay a giant peony flower with a diameter of 3,000 zhong flat. In the air above the peony flower, clouds and mist surrounded it. In the place of the stamen, it was even thicker with white mist. And vaguely, it was as if one could see two huge chessboards, a black chessboard and a white chessboard. In front of the whiteboard, it seems to be sitting in a hazy white-haired old man. The blackboard was like a black hole, which was hard to see. On the edge of the peony flower, there were 8 big golden characters, life chess, death chess. Each one is at peace with heaven's destiny. Life chess, dead chess. Gu Hai frowned slightly. On the white chessboard, opposite the white-haired old man, a huge golden character life. Even through the fog, it was burning brightly. Where the blackboard was, a huge golden character death was also visible at a glance. Above the peony sect's surrounding peaks, a large number of cultivators had long been occupied at this moment. However, the crowd of cultivators looked at the huge peony flower in the distance, but no one dared to approach it in general, and for a while, a tangle of colors appeared on the faces of countless cultivators. Under the peony flower, a dragon's roar came out. The sound of a dragon vein. Gu Qin's eyes lit up. Long Wanqing, the giant peony flower, in the distance with a worried expression. Gu Hai, however, frowned slightly. This was because, with the appearance of the crowd, the gazes of countless cultivators all around turned over. That's the devil Gu Hai. Some people recognized Gu Hai at a glance from a long distance away. That's the first-grade hallmaster, Long Wanqing, the only one who escaped from the peony flower. Another person was surprised. Gu Hai's here. He can solve the 29th heaven and earth vertical chess game. Gu Hai solved it in the Dinglong sect. He can solve it. The eyes of countless cultivators gradually changed. Gu Hai twisted his head to look at the 4 directions, but he sensed a wave of hostility, and many cultivators were generally dumbfounded. Raw, sinful animal, you seek death, steeply. A furious shout rang out from the peony flower, the board of dead chess. This is Meng Tai's voice. Gu Hai raised an eyebrow. Meng Tai also entered the chess game. Long Wanqing was surprised. Meng Tai, return my Yu Yao. Another sound came from the dead chessboard. This is Li Wei. Gu Hai stared. Did Li Wei and Wei Yong all go in? Gu Qin revealed a hint of curiosity. Ang, Meng Tai, you won't have a good ending. Wei Yong, when did I offend you? Roar. A loud roar came again. This is Zhao Longfu blood. Gu Hai stared at the dead chessboard in the distance with a staring brow. Listening to the loud roar coming, Gu Hai felt that the situation was getting more and more complicated. How come there's no sound from the Grandmaster? Long Wanqing was worried. Hall Master, you don't have to worry, although we don't know what's going on inside. But at least it proves that entering the dead chess area may not necessarily mean death. With Master Liu Nian's ability, there shouldn't be any problem to protect yourself, right? Gu Hai comforted. Not bad. Grandmaster will definitely be fine. The tension in Long Wanqing's eyes got a little better, but she was still incredibly worried. Righteous Father, something's not right. The surrounding cultivators are looking at us. With increasingly unkind gazes, some of them seemed to be coming towards us. Gu Qin raised an eyebrow and said worriedly. Gu Hai looked around. Sure enough, as more and more people were talking, some cultivators drew their swords and came towards them while guarding the four directions. Looking all over, there were at least 50,000 cultivators gathered at this place. They know I'll be playing chess and want to hold me hostage to help them clear the way. Gu Hai revealed a cold smile. Gu Qin nodded. Gu Hai, shall we go in? Long Wanqing looked at Gu Hai pleadingly. Fine, let's go. The 29th Heaven and Earth Vertical Chess Game, Advanced Chapter. I want to see it too. A wave of determination flashed in Gu Hai's eyes as he said. Thank you, Long Wanqing said sincerely. Hall Master doesn't need to be like this, Gu Hai laughed. But what if we are in danger? Should Gu Qin stay outside in case something happens to us? Long Wanqing worried. No need, Hall Master. It's safest for me to follow my righteous father. Look at the eyes of the people around. They will catch me to blackmail righteous father, Gu Qin said with a smile. All right, Long Wanqing nodded. A group of 16 people stepped towards the main peak, the giant peony. Along the way, as they passed by one cultivator after another, the eyes of the cultivators were complicated for a while, wanting to go forward, but they were a bit worried in general. Finally, halfway there, 30 cultivators couldn't help themselves and suddenly jumped out. They blocked the path of Gu Hai's group. Mr. Gu, are you entering this peony world? How about we accompany Mr. on his journey? We can protect Mr. The crowd walked over, although their tone was polite, but each of them grasped their swords with grim faces.